7 signs. You will be going to heaven after death. Watch this before it's too late. Soft, welcoming music fades in. The camera zooms in slowly on a serene church setting, a peaceful background, maybe a window with sunlight streaming through. Hello, my dear friends. I want to start by asking you something important, a question that has been on the hearts of countless people for centuries. What happens after we die? What is the real destiny that awaits us when this life comes to an end? It's a question that many of us try to avoid, but it's one that we must all face eventually. Pause for effect. Now, I don't want you to fear this question. Instead, I want you to embrace it, because understanding what lies ahead can give you peace today, not just tomorrow. Today, I'm going to share with you something truly profound. 7 signs that could show you're on the right path to heaven. These are not just theories, not just abstract teachings from a book. These are real, practical signs that you can see and feel in your own life right now. Smiling gently. This isn't about religion or dogma. This is about you, your heart, and your journey. I'm here to help you recognize the spiritual signs. The signs that show heaven is not just a distant dream, but something that is already at work in your life. I believe you can know right now if you're on the right path. So stay with me as we explore these 7 signs that may just change your life forever. Watch this, before it's too late. 1. The sign of love and compassion. Soft, soothing background music continues. The camera pans slowly over beautiful, serene images, maybe a family holding hands, an elderly person helping a child, or a community coming together. I want to start with something very simple, yet deeply powerful. Love. It's the foundation of everything. Heaven, my dear friends, is a place where love reigns above all else. And not just any kind of love, but a love that goes beyond ourselves, a love that is patient, kind, and unconditional. Pause for effect. You see, love is the greatest gift we can give, not only to others, but also to ourselves. I've met countless people in my life, some rich and famous, others quiet and humble. And what always stands out to me is this: the people who are closest to heaven are the ones who live with love in their hearts. And this love isn't about grand gestures or saying the right words. No. It's in the quiet moments of compassion, the way you reach out to help someone in need, the way you forgive even when it's difficult, the way you care without expecting anything in return. Smiling gently, leaning in as if sharing a secret. I remember one woman in my congregation. Her name was Mary. She was a simple woman, no wealth or fame, but oh, how her heart overflowed with love. She would visit the elderly, bring meals to the sick, and always share a kind word. She didn't seek praise or recognition. One day, I asked her, "Mary, why do you do this?" And with a tear in her eye, she simply said, "Father, I love because I know how much I've been loved by God." That's it. That is the essence of heaven. Love like that is a sign that your heart is already on the path to eternal peace. Pauses to let the message settle. So, ask yourself, how do you love? Is your heart open to others? Do you show compassion even when it's hard? If you can love deeply, without conditions, then I believe you're on the road to heaven. 2. A heart open to forgiveness. Soft music fades into a peaceful, contemplative tone. The camera shifts to an image of someone walking away from a quarrel, shaking hands, or simply letting go of a burden. The second sign is perhaps one of the most powerful: forgiveness. This, my friends, is the key to unlocking the door to heaven. You see, forgiveness isn't just for the one who wronged you. It's for you, for your heart, your peace, and your soul. Leaning in, speaking with sincerity. I've seen it time and time again. People carrying the heavy weight of unforgiveness in their hearts, and you can see the toll it takes. It poisons relationships, steals your joy, and makes it hard for you to feel at peace with yourself. But when you choose to forgive, it's like releasing a burden that was never meant to be carried. Pauses. His voice softens. I once had a parishioner, a young man named Tom, who struggled deeply with bitterness. He had been wronged by someone he loved, and for years he carried that anger inside. It ate at him. But one day, something changed. He came to me, tears in his eyes, and said, "Father, I can't carry this anymore. I forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because I need to be free." That moment of forgiveness, was so powerful. It was as if the heavens themselves opened up and embraced him, gently nodding as if reflecting on this truth. Forgiveness is not about forgetting what happened, but about releasing the chains that bind you to the past. You forgive because you choose peace over pain, grace over guilt. Heaven is a place of forgiveness, and if you can forgive, if you can let go of that burden, then heaven is already beginning to unfold in your heart. 3. The sign of inner peace. Amidst chaos. Gentle piano music plays softly, creating a peaceful atmosphere. The camera shows serene images, a person meditating by a calm lake, a quiet sunset, or someone sitting in contemplation in a peaceful garden. Let me ask you this. When life throws its hardest trials at you, how do you react? When the storm clouds roll in, do you panic, or do you find peace in the midst of it? This, my friends, is another profound sign that you may be on the path to heaven. The ability to find peace, even in the most difficult times. Leaning forward, speaking earnestly. Now, I'm not talking about a fake, forced peace that ignores the struggles you face. No. I'm talking about a deep, lasting peace that comes from knowing, without a doubt, that no matter how bad things get, you are never alone. Heaven is not just a place, it's a state of being, and that state of being is peace. Pauses for a moment. There was a man in our community. His name was Joseph. He was going through a very hard time, lost his job, his home, and his health. Yet despite all of this, he never lost his peace. Every day he would wake up with a smile, and even though he had every reason to despair, he told everyone, "God will take care of me." His faith was unshakable, and that inner peace, that trust in God, radiated from him, softly, with conviction. That's the kind of peace I'm talking about. It's a peace that surpasses understanding. And if you have this peace, my dear friends, then heaven is already living within you. The more you cultivate this peace, the closer you get to the eternal peace that awaits. 4. The sign of a changed heart. Music transitions to something more uplifting and warm. The screen shifts to a person helping another, or someone overcoming personal struggles with grace and strength. I want to share with you another beautiful sign, a heart that has been changed. Heaven isn't just a destination, it's also a transformation. It's not just about what happens when we die, but about what happens in this life, here and now. And one of the clearest signs that you are on the path to heaven is that your heart has been radically changed. Leaning in with a more personal tone. I've seen people who were once filled with anger, hatred, and bitterness, and I've witnessed their transformation. There's a moment in their journey when they realize that living for themselves, for their own desires and grudges, isn't bringing them peace. Instead, they begin to live for others. They begin to seek love, kindness, and humility above all else. One such person was Robert. He was someone I knew years ago, a man who was constantly angry, upset, and distant. But over time, something shifted in him. He came to church one day, looked me in the eyes, and said, "Father, I feel like I'm finally starting to change. I used to be so bitter, but now I want to be kind." He was filled with a newfound joy and love for life. His heart had been changed, and I knew then that he was closer to heaven than ever before. Pauses thoughtfully. A heart that has been changed, that's a sign that heaven is not just a place you're going to, but something that is already growing inside you. If your heart is becoming more compassionate, more forgiving, more full of grace, then heaven is already in your midst. Smiles warmly. So ask yourself, has your heart changed, Are you more loving today than you were yesterday? If so, then you are walking toward heaven, step by step. 5. The sign of a humble spirit. Soft, reflective music plays. The camera shows simple, humble scenes. A person helping others quietly, a volunteer cleaning, a child giving their last piece of candy to another. Now, let me talk to you about something that might seem simple, but is incredibly profound. Humility. Heaven, my friends, is a place where pride doesn't belong. It's not about being the best, the most important, or the most powerful. In fact, the true spirit of heaven is about humbling yourself before others and recognizing that we are all part of something greater than ourselves. Leaning in, voice soft, but powerful. I've encountered many people in my life who have achieved great things. People with wealth, power, and influence. But the ones I remember most are the ones who never let their success get to their heads. Instead, they remain humble, kind, and unpretentious. These people understand something deep. They understand that the more you lift others up, the closer you get to lifting yourself into the presence of heaven. I remember an elderly woman named Grace. She had no title, no fortune, but her spirit was rich beyond measure. She never boasted about her good deeds. Instead, she quietly took care of others, always putting others' needs above her own. One day I asked her, "Grace, why don't you ever talk about your good works?" And she simply replied, "Because it's not about me, it's about God." And in that moment, I knew she had understood the heart of heaven. Pauses, looking thoughtful. If you can live with humility, if you can serve others without seeking recognition or praise, then you are already living a life that mirrors the values of heaven. Humility is the quiet strength that connects us to God and to one another. It's the purest form of love. And if you carry that humility in your heart, heaven is drawing closer with every humble act you perform. 6. The sign of unshakable faith. The camera shifts to show serene images of nature. A sunrise, a mountain peak, a peaceful river flowing steadily. And finally, I want to talk to you about faith. Heaven is not just a place we aim for, it's a promise, a divine assurance. And the sign of a life that's on the right path is this: a faith that cannot be shaken, even in the toughest of times. Leans forward, speaking with deep conviction. Faith is not just belief, it's trust. It's the kind of trust that holds firm when everything around you seems to fall apart. It's the belief that, no matter how dark the road may get, God will carry you through. Heaven is a place where that faith is not just an idea. It's a reality, a truth that shapes every moment of our existence. I've known people who have faced unimaginable pain, the loss of a loved one, a child's illness, financial ruin. But in the midst of their suffering, they held on to their faith. They didn't just believe in God. They trusted Him. They trusted His plan, even when they couldn't see the way forward. One such person was Anna. Her daughter was critically ill, and for months, she never left her side. But despite her pain, Anna would always say, "God's plan is bigger than my understanding. I trust Him." Her faith was unshakable. Softly. That's what heaven is about, my friends. It's not about having all the answers, but trusting the one who does. It's about knowing that no matter what happens in this life, you are held by something greater than yourself. If you have that kind of faith, then you are already standing on the threshold of heaven. 7. The sign of a life of purpose. The music shifts to an inspiring, uplifting melody. The screen fades to scenes of people pursuing their passions. A teacher helping a student, an artist painting, a volunteer building homes for those in need. Each person is immersed in something bigger than themselves. And now, my dear friends, we come to the final sign, a sign that may surprise you, but one that I believe is so powerful. The sign of a life lived with purpose. Pauses, voice filled with hope and meaning. Heaven isn't just about waiting for a reward after this life. It's about living in such a way that the impact you make today ripples into eternity. You see, heaven isn't just a future promise. It's a present reality. And when you live a life of purpose, a life that seeks to serve, build, and uplift others, you're not just preparing for heaven. You're already participating in it. I've seen people whose lives are dedicated to making a difference, whose every action is rooted in a deep sense of purpose. And what's remarkable is how these people, when they are living in alignment with their higher calling, radiate something divine. There's a peace, a joy, a sense of fulfillment that shines through them. I had the privilege of knowing a man named Samuel, who spent his life teaching at an inner-city school. He was never rich, never famous, but he made such an impact on his students. He poured his heart into them, teaching them not only academics but also values, compassion, and hope. One day I asked him, "Samuel, why do you do this?" And he simply said, "Because I know that what I do here changes the world, one student at a time." Soft smile, looking reflective. Samuel's life was a life of purpose, a life that extended beyond his own desires and dreams. He lived for others. And this, my friends, is the true sign of heaven. It's not about seeking fame or wealth or personal glory. It's about aligning your life with something greater, with a purpose that transcends you, that contributes to the greater good of humanity. Pauses, the camera focusing on the speaker's compassionate face. So ask yourself, what is your purpose? What are you living for? Are you using your time, your talents, your heart to build something meaningful? If you are living a life that is full of purpose, full of service to others, then you are already living in a way that brings heaven closer. Conclusion: heaven is a journey, not just a destination. So, my dear friends, I hope you've heard what I'm saying today. The 7 signs: love, forgiveness, peace, a changed heart, humility, faith, and purpose. These aren't just things we aspire to after we pass away. These are the things we are called to live by every single day. Heaven isn't just something we go to. Heaven is something we create within us, every moment of our lives. Leans in slightly, with warmth and conviction. I want to leave you with this. If you are living a life filled with love, compassion, forgiveness, peace, humility, faith, and purpose, then heaven is not a distant dream. It's right here with you. You are living it now. And when the time comes, when this life ends, you will simply step into the fullness of what you've already been preparing for. Softly, with a reassuring smile. May you walk in love. May you forgive without hesitation. May you live in peace. May your heart always be open to change. May your humility be your strength. May your faith carry you through every trial. And may you live a life of purpose that touches others and brings heaven here on earth. God bless you all. The camera slowly fades to black as soft, uplifting music continues, leaving viewers with a sense of peace and hope.